President Paul Biya's decision to run again is generating mixed emotions across Cameroon, with digital space buzzing as the 92-year-old seeks an 8th term. But while some hail the decision as historic, others are calling for reforms and generational change. A renewed lockdown in the northwest region of Cameroon is paralyzing movement across the northwest region. Travel to Kumbo, Nkambe and beyond has become a nightmare following separatist actions linked to the recent kidnappings and arrests, with thousands caught in the ripple effects of the crisis. And shock and disbelief swept through the famous Machete farm in Douala 2 this morning as bulldozers rolled to a demolition galore. Now it is the 4th day and the operations continue to displace vendors. Those were top stories.
Canal International.
Thanks and welcome to join me. Our platforms are open for consultation on Canal International. President Paul Biya has actually announced he is going to run for another term in office. Now, this announcement has generated mixed emotions across Cameroon, with the digital space buzzing as the 92-year-old seeks the 8th term. But while some people are already hailing this as a historic decision, others are already calling for generational change and reforms. Maureen Ndi has been exploring online waves and now takes the reactions.
President Paul Biya's recent announcement of his candidacy for an 8th term has ignited a wave of reactions on social media. At 92, Biya's decision has been met with both fervent support and staunch opposition, reflecting a nation grappling with its political future. On the social media, skepticism abounds. A notable post by user X Zafrain directly addresses President Paul Biya, outlining 3 main demands. He should personally tell leaders the people want to see him, and confront him directly. No proxies. He emphasized on his social media page. Others like disclose no use of state resources for campaigning. Public vehicles and state phones and national media should remain neutral. Campaign must be financed by the party, not taxpayers. Others on their Facebook pages emphasize on free, transparent and credible elections. No shortcuts this time. Cameroonians deserve accountability, fairness and transparency. These Cameroonians emphasized on their Facebook pages. Many citizens echo these sentiments, expressing a desire to see President Paul Biya actively engage with the electorate, present his manifesto and participate in debates. Critics highlight that since 1982, Biya's prolonged tenure has led to poor governance, pushing many out of the country, while those who remain feel disillusioned. Conversely, some supporters believe Paul Biya deserves another mandate, responding to the people's call. A youth on Facebook expressed hope that Paul Biya would campaign more extensively in the north this time around, suggesting a two-hour engagement to concretely explain his plans to the people. These diverse reactions reflect a nation at a crossroads, political analysts emphasized.
Meanwhile, the streets in Yaoundé are talking. President Paul Biya's decision to run again for another term is generating emotions, from cautious support to the president to urgent calls for change. Our reporter Beatrice Ngamo spoke to residents across Cameroon's political capital to gauge the pulse of the people.
Most Yaoundé voices reflects a growing fatigue, with another Biya's term spotlighting a strong desire for generational change. The youths in majority are skeptical and fatigued and think a youthful image could boost their hope.
Actually, I'm a young Cameroonian, but for what the president has been doing all the years is very good. But we as the youth, we also like changes. What I want is peace.
On veut un sang frais. on veut les jeunes.
Nous aimerons que des consciences se réveillent et que les gens prennent conscience que ce n'est pas quelque chose qu'on doit encourager.
The moral pressure from religious communities, others salute as a call to let go, meaning words for change. Change for the interest of the population, their well-being and development.
De mettre sa candidature, chacun est libre. Mais ce qui est là, c'est manque, il faut bien faire.
On ne le voit pas, il est là. Est-ce qu'il peut faire la campagne dans toutes les régions, là, battre la campagne comme on le voit dans d'autres pays?
Even the growing unease within the ruling CPDM party, some hold a sign all is not well. Such dividing trends stirs of instability, which can indirectly mean swings. This notwithstanding, the president's voice is like a long-awaited cry coming from the wilderness.
Moi, sa candidature, ça ne me surprend pas, puisque lui-même se sent encore capable.
Le fait que le président de la République se représente un signe d'amour déjà pour sa patrie, parce qu'il faut persévérer dans ce que l'on aime.
Conclure que ça avait beaucoup de joie ou beaucoup de bonheur, parce que le suspense durait déjà et les guerres qui se faisaient ressentir même sur la communication gouvernementale commençaient déjà à embêter nous qui sommes de la société civile.
Paul Biya has announced he is up, candidate for October 12 presidential election in Cameroon.
And the calm after the political storm at the CPDM headquarters in Yaoundé, where the mood is focused and measured just days after President Paul Biya confirmed his bid for another term. Canadians once more, Beatrice and Gamo now observe the reactions inside the CPDM stronghold.
This full parking lot is evidence of the mobilization in the ranks of the ruling CPDM. The day after the President of the Republic, chairman of the party, Paul Biya, announced his candidacy for an 8th term. At the CPDM headquarters this July 14, staff are calmly going about their duties. In their next building, housing the offices of the advisors, the treasurer, among others, everyone is at their workstation. Only a few people are seen moving around the courtyard. For Paul Celestin Demiyembe, advisor to the Secretary General, the President's announcement via the social media carries a deeper message.
It's clearly demonstrating that head of state is very modern. He's a modern man, is a man who is giving his time, and he's living with his time, and I think it is the best way for a Cameroonian to say, yes, this man is a man who is there for our country, and we need him for the next years.
The meeting room is ready to host strategic planning sessions. Communication teams are on high alert as the coming days promises to be very busy. Gadget vendors are also gearing up, even though it's not yet peak season. For now, the priority is to polish the message around the candidate.
We are working, preparing the first of all the deposit of the candidature of the head of state at Elekam. What is doing actually, and next we are taking time to know how to launch our campaign, but I cannot reveal you what we are doing for.
The words of the CPDM party scribe ties in with the composure to remain focused no matter the storm brewing on social media.
At the Douala branch office of Elections Cameroon, calm may be the mood, but the stakes are very high as the date narrows for the 12th October 2025 presidential election. Now, Abu Gladys Dibang is standing by at the Elecam's branch office in Douala. And of course, she was there to see if some candidates are already around to drop their files. Hello,
Hello, Kejang Heria Tembe. It is a calm and serene atmosphere at the Douala branch office of Elections Cameroon, Elekam, where daily operations are unfolding without disruptions. As of now, no presidential hopeful has submitted their candidacy file for the upcoming presidential elections slated for October 12, 2025. Officials at the branch explain that ever since the electorate was convinced by presidential decree on July 11. They have been on alert because this marks the beginning of a critical and demanding phase in the electoral calendar. According to them, all logistic and technical dispositions have been put in place to ensure a smooth reception of the candidates and their documentations. At the time of our visit, the atmosphere remains composed with staff focused on administrative duties and making final adjustments to receive the candidates as soon as they begin to file in. From the Douala branch office of Elections Cameroon, Elekam, I am Gladys Ambo Dibang signing off.
Thanks very much, Gladys Ambo Dibang. We move over to the northwest region of the country where a renewed lockdown in Dop is actually paralyzing movements across that region. Travel from Kumbu to Kambe and beyond is a nightmare following separatist actions that are linked to the recent kidnappings and arrests, with thousands caught in the ripple effects of the crisis. Sherifa Saleh with curls from Northwest Chief Correspondent Annie Collins.
It is now commonplace that whenever the socio-political crisis shows signs of abating in the northwest region, some of the belligerents press the trigger for it to continue. Whereas Ndop Town and Goketunjia division as a whole have been quiet for some months, the recent kidnap of a gendarme officer by separatist fighters in Bamising village has again revived tension. The warrant officer was reportedly pulled out of a passenger vehicle between Dop and Bamenda. In retaliation, the senior divisional officer ordered the arrest and detention of family members of some local separatist leaders, some of whom are nursing mothers with 2- and 3-month-old babies, pending the freeing of the uniform officer. With both sides failing to release their respective captives, the dead body of a securing officer was discovered at mile 25 Ndop 1 week later. In retaliation, defense and security forces reportedly staged an incursion into a separatist hideout in Bamising, killing 2 with 1 body burnt. The troops exhibited the carcasses at the Ndop Town Square. Since then, a separatist-imposed lockdown has grounded activities in Goketunjia division, with the non-state armed groups in neighboring Bui division taking the relay, and a few days ago, those of far-off Ndonga Mantung have joined in solidarity. For now, it is practically difficult, if not impossible, to travel from Bamenda to Ndop, Kumbu and Kambe and their dependent localities. The Northwest Regional Administration has not yet addressed the matter as life continues to be unbearable for the local population as prices of basic commodities keep soaring. However, over the weekend, government forces penetrated another Amba hideout in Bambalang village in Dop subdivision, killing at least 3 gunmen and seizing war guns in their possession.
Thanks very much, Sherifa and Annie Collins. And shock and disbelief swept through the Marshede farm, the famous Marshede farm in Douala 2 this morning, as bulldozers rolled to a demolition galore. Now it is the 4th day, and the vendors continue as the operation continues. The vendors are being displaced progressively. Once more, Sherifa Saleh telling us that some of them have been there since 1986.
It is before their watchful eyes that these traders at Marshede farm in Douala witnessed their stalls and years of investment reduced to rubble in minutes.
Le père de famille, tout un monde, mais vraiment ce n'est pas facile.
The demolition, which entered its 4th day this July 14, 2025, intensified early this morning around 7 a.m., with business structures being turned down as council agents moved in.
On ne sait même où aller. Même au village, on n'a pas construit au village.
According to local authorities, the demolition was pre-announced and specifically targeted business spaces, not residential homes. However, traders on site say they were caught off guard with little to no information on relocation or compensation.
Avant même que je sois né, on disait toujours qu'on va nous déguerpir ici.
Some of the affected vendors have operated here since as far back as 1986. Now, they face an uncertain future, unsure of where or how to rebuild their livelihoods.
Nous, on a payé les boutiques qu'on casse là, sans nous aviser.
while municipal leaders maintain that the operation is part of a broader urban cleanup and planning initiative. Many residents say the process lacks transparency and compassion.
Thanks very much, Sherifa Saleh. And Cameroon enters the high-stake election season. Journalists have been reminded of their duty. Kamase's national patron, Tumfo Niko Hale, has urged members of that association to champion truth and professionalism. He appealed during a ceremony to bless the newly elected chapter executive, or the Douala chapter executive, led by Morindi. Gladys Ambontiba report.
Said Dr. Barrister Tumfo Niko Hale has urged the leadership of the Douala chapter of the Cameroon's Association of English-Speaking Journalists, CAMASEJ-D, to uphold moral and spiritual values as the country prepares for a crucial electoral season on July 11, 2025, while addressing the team led by Morindi, who was recently re-elected as CAMASEJ-D president. The legal luminary and national patron of the association emphasized the need for integrity in their professional conduct.
My advice to you is that please build integrity. Build integrity. You cannot build integrity without the platform of core moral and spiritual values. From love you have justice, you have equity, you have transparency and accountability, you have integrity, dignity, and honor, you have the fear of the Lord. From love you have what we call good governance, you have what we call best practices. All of you who have been elected into the ESCO of Douala of CAMASEJ-D, may the Lord lead, direct, guide, bless, accompany and protect you, especially during moments that are ominous like this, that we have elections. Make sure.
With the presidential elections just months away, the CAMASEJ patrons specifically urged media professionals to remain fair and transparent in their coverage. In response, CAMASEJ Douala President Morindi revealed plans to roll out targeted workshops on election reporting in the months ahead. The aim, she said, is to better equip journalists, especially first-time election reporters, with the tools and knowledge needed to cover the process responsibly.
This mandate, we are going to try to reinforce those values of integrity in our journalists, because we think that as journalists we need to stand by truth and write those stories. And again, we are in a historic year, meaning that a lot of things are going to happen. But now, what's the role of the journalists during elections? And that's what we've been imbibing. That's what we've been trying to educate journalists on, give them those skills that they can report well.
Said Dr. Barrister Niko Hale also praised Morindi's leadership over the past 4 years, describing her as courageous and focused. He expressed confidence that she will deliver even greater results during her second term at the helm of CAMASEJ Douala.
Reported was the curtain for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Keja Henry Atime, thanking you for being there. Below the brief, the actualities coming up with Lee Keju from all of us. Goodbye.